I'm Rob. Welcome to Build Up, the show about shows between the shows. Chris Daughtry is here today to talk about his 5th full-length album, To Rattle.
Woo! To Rattle! Hey. A big part of being a touring musician is the request you have for your green room backstage. This is known as a tour writer.
Oh, yeah.
So we're gonna play a game where I read the crazy writers of famous musicians and bands, and you have to guess who it is.
All right, is everyone ready to play a game? Yes.
Woo!
Wow,
oh
she's
gosh.
so excited.
Oh, I love it.
Come on up.
Get on up.
Yeah, I love your enthusiasm.
Yeah, she's ready. She's like, I know what a writer is.
Oh,
here you go.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Get right there in the middle.
Hi, how are you today? What's your name?
Jackie.
Hi, Jackie. You think you know who's going to have the correct writer?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got a good idea. I think so.
All right. I mean, I feel like you're ready.
Yeah.
All right, so first one. 100 snow white goats for slaughter. A halal butcher to slaughter the goats, freezer bags and coolers to preserve the goat meat, and 4 yoga ball chairs. They must be black. Who do you think this is? A, Metallica, B, Slayer, C, Joan Osborne, or D, Tom Hanks? Famous musician Tom Hanks.
Joan Jetta?
Nope, it was Slayer.
It was Slayer.
Yeah.
It was Slayer.
Yeah, Slayer's always sacrificing animals.
All right, let's try another one. Ready?
One more.
A list of local AA meeting schedules, a submachine gun, a 12-foot boa constrictor, and a jar of Grey Poupon mustard. Now, whose writer is this? Motley Crue, John Tesh, Wham, or Sias Wig? Motley Crue, John Tesh.
Help her out. She's asking
Wham.
for help. Who do you
Motley
think?
Crue, John Tesh.
Monty Crue.
Motley Crue. Yeah, that's correct.
Woo!
You did it. That was amazing.
Yeah. Oh my God, I love it. You even did a groupie dance. That's perfect.
Yep.
All right, you want to do another one? All right, vitamins, dried mangoes, and a bottle of absinthe. 3 women between the ages of 20 and 25 so that they could dance on stage wearing full body burqas. Okay. Is this A, Madonna, B, Prince, C, William Hung, or D, MIA? Help her out. She's looking for audience participation on this one. No, it's not Madonna.
It's the modern Madonna, MIA.
Woo! That was still great.
Yeah.
All right, what do you want to do another one?
Go ahead.
Okay. A request that the room be at 78 degrees and asks for chicken legs heavily seasoned with cayenne pepper and rose-scented candles. No Coca-Cola products anywhere, and 4 white towels in the bathroom.
Wow, this person hates
very specific.
Coca-Cola.
Yeah, very specific. You heard all that, right? Chicken, no Coca-Cola. Elton John, Beyonce, Matchbox 20, or me. It's very hot in here, and I love the smell of rosé.
Matchbox 20, my son said.
No, sorry, it wasn't Matchbox 20. You want another guess?
Beyonce.
Yes, it was
Queen
Beyonce.
Bee. The Queen Bee.
Beyonce hates Coca-Cola.
She can't have that. She's Pepsi.
Yeah, all right.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You won.
Good
You
job.
won.
Great job. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, does anyone else think that they're really good at tour writers and guessing?
Who's got
Anyone
the
else?
knowledge?
That's
Who's
great.
got
What
the
would you
knowledge?
put on your tour writer, Rob?
Oh, man. Definitely ramen, and not the cheap stuff. I'm talking about the real good stuff.
Whoa, you want expensive ramen?
Expensive ramen, a essential oil diffuser, and the latest Rachel Maddow podcast. Ready to go.
Oh, wow. I love it. You're trying to be informed.
Yes, I got to be informed, and that's how I live.
All right. Anyone else want to play?
Someone else?
Come on. Let's go. You.
Sir,
We have your home address.
You have great energy.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. I could see
Yeah,
sometimes
woo.
people with their face, they're saying, you would play, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How's it going? What's your name?
My name is Charles.
Hey, Charles.
Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you. All right, here we go.
All right. A barber's chair, Carmex lip balm, shower shoes, a slushie machine, and a box of toothpicks. Sounds like a 5-year-old that's getting his hair cut, right? But who is it? A, Billy Joel, B. John Legend, C. Kanye West, or D. Yo-Yo Ma?
Is this Kanye?
You got it right.
Kanye.
Yeah.
Of course. Of course.
I love it. A slushy machine.
I could imagine Yo-Yo Ma being really obsessed with a slushy machine, though.
Yeah, I know. And shower shoes. Who doesn't want shower shoes? I keep my sneakers on in the shower.
You got to keep your feet clean. You know, you're going into these backstage showers. Come on.
Yeah,
You got to have some
they're pretty
slippers
nasty.
for those.
But
Yeah.
didn't you think like Kanye West's rider would be a little bit weirder?
It could be.
It's Kanye.
Right?
Yeah.
He is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess he's like, my weirdness is in here. I don't need outside weirdness.
I would imagine Kanye just requires like a full art gallery. He's like, I need the MoMA.
He needs a museum.
Yeah, just like right there. He's like, that's impossible. He's like, I said MoMA.
Yeah.
They go, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I would bring him the MoMA. Thankfully, I don't work for him though.
No. All right, should we do another one?
Let's do
Yeah.
one more.
Yeah. All right.
He's like, just
We're
one
keeping
more.
it moving. I appreciate that. You're like, this is getting a little dry, I think.
You're like, I don't like answering your questions. Leave me alone.
Okay.
And I'm like, aren't we friends?
We are friends, I can tell. Arrangement of pink fresh flowers,
Ooh.
white and purple hydrangeas, pink and white roses, and peonies.
Okay, a lot of specific
So
flowers.
many specific flowers. This person loves flowers. If not available, seasonal white flowers. We're still not done with the flowers. White orchids. Absolutely no carnations. No. And a jar of quality honey.
Ooh, so just a shit ton of flowers and a jar of honey. Okay, who do you
Sounds
think
like
this
it's
is?
probably a bee.
Yeah, right? It's probably just a bee.
Big bumblebee.
You?
Is it?
Is that?
Yeah. Do you think Rob looks like a bee?
No.
Yeah,
Oh.
he's buzzing.
Take that back.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, we got Hootie and the Blowfish, Alanis Morissette, Slipknot, or Katy Perry.
Ooh. Wow, you didn't even have to answer.
Wow.
The audience is on your
The
side.
audience
Like
got
Katy
it. It's Katy Perry.
Yes.
Is it?
Katy
Right.
Perry. Look at
It's
this.
Katy Perry.
This room is full
Thank you,
of
guys.
Katy
Wouldn't it be
Perry.
hilarious if it was Slipknot, though? If Slipknot was like, we need flowers. I love Satan and flowers. Like, it'd be so good.
Imagine.
Oh, man, I didn't know we had a fucking Slipknot crowd in the house.
Yeah.
Shit, you guys are dark. Oh, who loves Satan? No. Oh, no Satan. You guys are like,
JK.
no.
Well, Chris Daughtry is backstage. Thanks so much for participating. We're so excited. We're going to go check out
Yeah.
Chris. We're going to say hi to him, see
Why
how
don't
he's
you come
doing.
Chris, I'm
down? Yeah, Chris, he's coming. You can get back to your seat and get
Yep.
ready. It's going to be really fun. Woo!
Thank you.
so
Thank
much
you.
for playing with us. Oh, I'm
Now,
excited.
I'm excited to see Chris.
Yeah.
I remember him from the 5th season of American Idol.
Did you watch?
Oh, I just remember I checked in and I was like, what's going on here? And I was like,
Yeah?
oh,
Oh, there he
yes,
is. There he is. Oh, hi, Chris
Hey,
Daughtry.
what's up?
Oh, wow, looking great. He's going to be taking some pictures.
Yeah.
He's
that,
getting ready for his build.
that means we're getting real close to the
Oh, yeah, it's coming up real soon. Oh, all right, well, I won't delay this anymore.
Yeah.
I hope you guys are emotionally prepared for this build because Chris Daughtry is going to do it. Thank you so much for hanging out with us on Build Up. Don't go anywhere because Chris Daughtry, like I've said a million times, is here
About to
and he's
be
going to go
on
up
Build.
on Build.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, welcome to Build Series live in New York City. I'm Laura Muraski from HuffPost, excited to welcome this next guest to the stage. You know Chris Daughtry as a season 5 finalist on American Idol who went on to form the Grammy-nominated band Daughtry and score hits with Home and It's Not Over. It's been nearly 5 years since we've seen a full-length album from Daughtry, but that changes today with the release of Cage to Rattle. Right, please welcome the one and only Chris Daughtry.
Hello.
Oh my gosh, we are so excited to have you here
Thank
today,
you.
as
Thanks
you
for
can tell
having
by
me.
a very enthusiastic crowd.
Hey,
here.
everybody.
And I love talking to artists on the day of the release of their new album. Like, does it feel like it's a relief? Are you excited?
It's like so chaotic that I had to like remind myself, oh, it's out today.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been such a crazy week, but yeah, it's been a long time coming, and we hope the fans are as happy as we are.
You know, there's been a lot of buzz about this album. I read a review yesterday that people are saying it's the best since your debut.
I'll take it.
You'll take it, right?
I like to think that always as an artist, we always think that it's our best work yet. Every album, because obviously you don't want to be going, I like the last one better, but
exactly.
and we always feel super proud of what we come out with. So, but this genuinely feels like the best thing we've done.
Okay. He's not just saying that, right?
That's just my personal opinion.
You know, and it's been in the works for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
And, we got a taste of some new music on your last Greatest Hits album that came out a couple of years back. But this has been, a couple of years. Why the long little lag time?
Well, I mean, it wasn't intended. I started writing this record in 2015, right around the time we were getting ready to release the Greatest Hits. So we were already kind of planning on it, and I had moved a couple times. I moved from North Carolina to LA, from LA to Nashville. Each move, that's a good 3 months out of your life, before you can actually get back to living it. And so that took some time, getting back in the studio, writing the writing process, and then finding a producer and getting everybody's schedule lined up. It was just one thing after another. Then we went on tour, then we had to go back in the studio. It was just... that's just how it ended up. But it wasn't that we took, 4 years to get inspired to do a new record. It was all being worked on.
And I understand you really wanted this to be collaborative, not just a Chris Daughtry.
Exactly.
And how do you try to incorporate the rest of your band into that process?
Well, a lot of the guys wrote songs on the record, but as far as the recording process, you want everyone to feel like they have a personality and that they have a voice in the overall production of things. So Jakir King, who produced the record, we had never worked with him before, and I think that played to our benefit because we didn't have someone we were comfortable with. We couldn't just fall back on our ways of doing things, and I don't even know why I did that. But
random air quotes.
Yeah, I like doing that just for everything, and so he kind of encouraged them to have a voice and to come up with interesting parts, not just, hey, I want you to play this, or you need to play this. This is how we always do records. He really, I think, made them step up or encouraged them to step up and be creative, and that played in the overall sound of the record.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this album definitely sounds like Daughtry, but it also, takes it to another level as well. How do you personally try to push yourself to kind of keep that, you don't want to alienate your fans, but you also want to, evolve.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's always inevitable that the things that you're listening to at the time, the music that we're into, and how things change, and as the landscape of music changes, it all plays an influence somehow. But at the same time, we also wanted to make sure we brought some guitars back in the mix. So it's our version of rock now. Yeah. And I think at the end of it, I'm really happy with the way it turned out. So.
Yeah, I think the fans will really enjoy it too. At the top of the segment, we heard Deep End. That's a great tune.
Thank you.
It's kind of I feel like it's about taking chances, and I don't know what you.
This record was a huge chance. I mean, there were times in the process that just felt so daunting, and a lot of that pressure was put on by myself. The pressure that you put on yourself that you think is coming from other people. The expectations you think the fans have versus the expectations you have on yourself as an artist, and you're wanting to sound like you're evolving and not regurgitating things that you've done in the past. So it's all that internal dialogue that plays a big part of it, and I had to finally just give into the process and not be afraid to dive into the deep end, if you will.
Bringing back the air quotes just for good measure there. You also call this the most challenging, really you had fun, but it was challenging.
Yeah.
And what would you say the most challenging part of it was?
Well, I think everything I just mentioned was certainly a big part of the challenge. And like I said earlier, getting used to working with someone that we barely just met and developing this relationship over the course of making a record, there was a lot of headbutting. There was a lot of, I don't know if I agree with that. And there was times that I had to go, maybe there's a reason that I should you know, we have a producer here and let him make the decision on this. Because when you're so close to it, especially some of these songs that I started writing or wrote back in 2015, 2016, they've lived with me for so long that you get married to it in a way that you can't envision it any other way than the way you demoed it out. And so I had to kind of reconcile that with myself and go, you know what, I'm not always right in this, and I need to take someone that's the person who's listening to it for the first time, and we need to kind of give into that and see their vision as well.
Yeah, like let go a little bit.
Yeah,
of
let go a little bit of the control, because otherwise you're producing yourself.
Yeah. And I think that probably helped inspire you and push you to the next level.
Absolutely.
One of my favorite songs on the album is the song you co-wrote with your wife.
Thank you.
It's kind of ballady. Yeah, we got another fan in the crowd here.
We got one person clapping. I love it.
Well, it just came out today, so you may not have heard everything.
It's called As You Are, and it was my wife, Deanna. She used to write a lot of poetry as a kid, and this was something that I found out about her later. And she brought me these lyrics one day, and she was kind of dealing with some things internally, and she just started writing some thoughts down and said, "Hey, if you feel inspired, you know, feel free to use this or whatever." And she's done that in the past too, and I was kind of like, "All right, cool." I was dismissive a little bit, and I think it kind of bummed her out and kind of made her kind of recoil a little bit. And then so when this happened, I was like, all right, I gotta really read this one this time and really take it to heart. And when I read it, it hit me, and I was moved, and I instantly had this chorus in mind. So I went to work, and I didn't really show it to her until it was all finished, and there was some tears shed. Yeah.
Oh, that's a really special story.
Yeah.
You guys have been married now for how many years? Like since 2000, right?
It'd be 18 in November.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
That deserves a round of applause if I haven't heard. Especially for a rock star in this business, on the road a lot. I mean, what do you think is the secret to a long-time marriage like that?
I mean, it's no different than, you know, traveling for any job. I guess you just look at it as this is what we do, you know, and when I'm home, I'm home. When I'm out, I'm out, and I'm working, and we FaceTime as much as possible. And, you know, the kids were kind of born into it, the little guys, so they don't really know any different. They're used to me leaving, but they've gotten to the age now where it's a lot harder to leave. Yeah. But yeah, we're best friends, and we make it work. And the good news is she likes having her alone time as well. So there's moments where she's like, "When are you going back out on the road?" And I have to call my manager and say, like, "Hey, we need some shows. I need give her some space."
The distance makes the hurt go fonder idea concept in full display there.
You gotta. The secret is to let each other be who they are. And that was kind of what our song is about, As You Are, you know. There's a lot of people that feel like they have to fit into a box, or they feel like they have to live up to the expectations of social media or their peers or the people they look up to, and they think they have to have it like that. And I think you can get yourself into a downward spiral of feeling like you're not good enough and you're not enough for this person or that person. And it was like an affirmation song, like, no, I love you as you are and how you are, like, right now. That's what's important. So I think that kind of plays a big role into the longevity of our marriage.
I absolutely agree, because if you don't let the person be who they are, then they're not going to be happy.
Because as you get older, you start to figure things out about yourself too.
Yeah.
And being allowed to figure that out is a huge thing.
You have how old are your younger kids now?
7. The twins are about to be 8, and the little guy is about to be 4. Wow. Yeah.
And then you have 2 older
And then the 2 older
kids,
ones
right?
are like 21 and 22. They're like full-on adults, and yeah.
And what do they think about the new album, or just Daughtry?
It's good. It's cool. It's good. I like it. It's better than your last one.
Wow, tough critics. Tough critics there. Hey.
Hey, that's better than the phase they went through when everything we did sucked.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, because we weren't the bands that they were listening to. And anything remotely close to what Dad does is not cool. So we steer clear of that. But now they've come back around. It's like, yeah, he's cool.
Are they musical at all?
They like music.
Yeah.
They don't play an instrument. My little guys, they're well, actually, our oldest son, he plays bass. He plays at it. And he's not committed enough to it. But the little guys, the twins, they take voice lessons and drum lessons and stuff. But that's all on them. Like they wanted that. And they're obsessed with Michael Jackson. They know the moves. Like Noah is he's got the hat and he's got the glove or a glove.
Yeah, you only need one if you're doing MJ.
It's not the glove, but it's a glove. And it's fun to watch them discover music that I was obsessed with at that age as well, and they found it completely organically without my input. So it's kind of cool to see yourself in those moments.
Cool. I love that. The album art for this is very cool, and I know you just got a tattoo, right?
Yeah,
just the other day. I don't know if you want to show it off. Is it ready?
It's still healing. It's a lot of work.
Okay.
It's like 12 hours of agony. So the rib cage is like I always felt like it really encompassed the record in this, like it's our soul and heart and soul into this record. And the Cage to Rattle lyric came from a song called Death of Me. And like we all have a cage to rattle or a red button or something that you know, can rattle us, you know, and we all go through hard times. We all go through troubles and we all have hard days and nobody's impervious to pain and we're all in this life together. And I feel like that lyric always stood out to me. Making that song was a especially frustrating time for me as an artist because I was dealing with a lot of self-doubt and is this good enough after so many years of waiting? Is this even worth listening to now? And I thought I was going to pull a Dr. Dre there for a minute and just scrap the whole record and nobody ever hear it. And just because it was taking so long to work on, and that lyric always stood out to me as like my cage was rattled this entire process, and in a good way. And sometimes not so much, but it just felt very apropos for the record title.
It definitely works. It's really
and I didn't want to be on the cover. I was like, I don't want my face on this. I want it to be artistic, and that image just like smacked me in the face.
That's great. Well, you're on tour right now.
Yeah, we start
on the road
this weekend. Yeah.
I mean, how's it going so far? And you know, what's it like?
We haven't started yet, so we're excited. We've done, you know, that video you guys saw was us at rehearsals. I wasn't planning on that being seen. I was wearing sunglasses and just rehearsing. So we're all ready. The lights are incredible. It's like pretty hypnotizing, actually. We can't wait for the fans to come out and see it.
Oh, we can't. I'm very excited for that. And, you know, where are you living these days?
Nashville.
Nashville, right?
Yeah.
You grew up in a very small town.
Very small town.
You know, how do you think that shaped who you are and you know, today and, you know, made you who you are?
I mean, I think it's inevitable that it makes you who you are. I think it gives you, you know, traveling the world has given me a much broader perspective of life and the world in general. And that would not have been, I would not have had that view had I stayed in that small town. But I look back on it with fond memories because I was able to live and be there to come up from that. And I knew at an early age that I wasn't going to be able to stay in that town because I knew I was going to do something. I didn't know what it was, but it gave me a desire to want to do more. And I knew at a very early age that I was built for more than this small town. And that, I also look back on it with fond memories because it helped me write some of my favorite songs, like September, you know, about my childhood growing up in the South and small town of like 100 people and playing in the ditch when it rained, you know?
Yeah, that's a great song. Very relatable too, because we all can kind of relate to that sort of vibe of like, whether it's small or not a small town, sort of like leaving home and then going back and that feeling.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more about what you're used to. Whether it's a small town or whether you grew up in the city, it's that fear of like breaking out of that and what's next, you know?
Absolutely. Oh man. So of course, you know, a lot of us got to know you from American Idol, and here we saw it coming back this past year.
Yeah.
What did you think about it coming back? Did you enjoy watching it or hearing about it?
I remember being on the stage for the finale when it was over. See the confetti and the lights go out and everything. I'm like, oh, that's a way to end it. Yeah. And then I see an ad like it's coming back. I'm like, oh, that was last week when we ended this thing. But so it was a little bit of a shock, but it was kind of cool to see it coming back. And I saw the first episode. We just happened to be in a time zone that it worked out where we could watch it before going on stage. And then we were in, you know, full tour mode, and I just completely forgot to watch. But it seemed like it was cool. Yeah. I don't know. Was it good this year?
Would you?
No.
No, we got a mixed crowd here. No and yes. That's because we wanted you as the judge.
Yeah.
There was a lot of rumors going around that Chris was going to be a judge, but
yeah, that was news to me as well. I remember getting all these phone calls from friends. Oh, like, dude, congrats. I'm like, congrats about what? What did I do? And then I read it and I was like, oh, well, they haven't called me. Yeah. So, and they still didn't. They never called me. They never even mentioned it. They never even said no. They didn't say, oh, by the way, I don't know how that got out. Sorry for all the confusion. But it was more like, no, just never happened.
No, it was not a thing.
Yeah, it was
Air
just
quotes
not a
all
thing.
the way.
I don't even know where it came from.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of
But
those
it
things
came
that
from
pick
a
up-
source.
Yeah, it's always a source.
It's always a source.
Right, exactly.
That's why you can't always believe everything. Yeah.
Well, you finished, what is it, fourth
Fourth,
on American Idol, and you're one of the most successful contestants, I think, coming off that show.
Thank you.
How different do you think your life would have been if you did take home the prize that
I don't
that
ever
year?
think about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I never think about what could have been. It's a debilitating state to be in, you know, and I don't. I like to enjoy where I am and what's next.
Yeah.
So I never really think about it. No.
Speaking of what's next, do you ever write on the road? Are you the type of artist that, you know, gets inspired while traveling?
It depends. You know, we used to write a lot on the road, and then what happens is you get into a record cycle and you get, you know, you put all this heart and soul into your existing project that you feel very depleted, and you have to have time for that, you know, bucket to get filled again before you're able to pour yourself back out there. And it takes time to get re-inspired sometimes. Sometimes not so much. Sometimes it's right in front of you. But occasionally, if it strikes, yeah, we have our rigs out on the road so we can track down ideas and stuff like that. Yeah. That's cool.
There was a point after Idol that you were invited to join the band Fuel as the lead singer, right? And you decided to just sort of go with Daughtry. I mean, what made you just make that decision? Like, why was it so important for you, kind of to bring it full circle, to sort of just go out on your own and make
It's just
your own
never an option to replace somebody else as a singer. For me, I didn't want to be known as the guy that replaced the other guy.
Yeah.
And out of respect and for myself. And so that to me was a flattering notion, but it was never a thought that I entertained.
Mm-hmm. When you're on the road, what's something that you do in your downtime?
I love going to movies.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a lot of times I'll literally go by myself and sit at the very back row and just chill and watch movies. Sometimes I do like 2 or 3 in a day.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Do you get recognized?
Yeah, every now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the last greatest movie that you've seen?
Let's see. The last movie I saw in the theater, because it's been so crazy and busy, was I think Infinity War.
Okay. Did you enjoy it? Yeah.
I went and saw it twice.
We got a lot of nods. Okay, so you liked it.
I did. The first time I didn't know what I was going to do with my life at the end of it. I was just like, I didn't know how to feel, but I knew that there was another part, so they had to have a plan. But I had to go watch it a second time to really enjoy the nuances of the film.
What about Netflix or streaming?
Oh yeah, I'm all up in Luke Cage right now. Okay. Well, that didn't sound right, but I'm all up on Luke Cage right now. That also didn't sound right. I'm watching Luke Cage.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Keep it simple.
Yeah, I love it. I watched a movie on Netflix recently called Kodachrome. It's got Ed Harris and Jason Sudeikis. It was a beautiful film. Yeah, I actually cried. So there's that.
There's that.
So I got both. I got my Marvel films and I got got my tear jerkers.
Yeah, you're all across the spectrum,
Yeah.
right? Well, we are out of time for our portion, but we have some questions from the crowd.
Cool.
So let's get to it. Who's
All right.
first?
All right, awesome, guys. Thank you very much.
All right, first one.
Who are your musical influences growing up?
Man, I was all over the place. One of the first pop songs that ever like caught my ear and made me fall in love with pop music was "Never Gonna Give You Up" from Rick Astley. But on a serious note, when I got into music and wanted to learn how to play guitar and write songs, I was into this record called "Throwing Copper" from Live. That record like changed my life. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for that question. Who's next? All right.
Hey there.
Hi, Chris.
How are you?
Nice to finally meet you.
You as well.
So my question to you is, as you well know, your other peers from American Idol, they have done Broadway in New York.
Right.
And they also done acting. Do you also see yourself going down the same road like them?
I've been in love with film ever since I was a kid. I wanted to be an actor before I ever knew I could sing. So yeah, I'm very interested in doing TV and film. You know, right now everything is all about this record, and I actually dabbled in it a little bit, and I realized that, you know, for right now it's so time consuming to do one or the other. So once this record cycle is you know, we get out there with this, I'm thinking a little more TV and film in the future, but I'm not sure if I've never really been into musicals, even though I did musicals in high school. For me, it's just not as, I don't know, I don't get as much out of it. But yeah, TV and film, definitely.
Yeah, we actually saw you recently in Passion.
Yeah.
Right. So that's kind of, you know, that's like a live production.
Yeah,
right?
and it
That must have
didn't
been-
feel, you know, one of the things that I loved about doing that is it didn't feel like the typical musical. With the, you know, the dancing and the show tunes, which there's nothing wrong with that. I respect it a lot. It's never been something that I felt like I could bring something to.
Well, thank you for that question. We look forward to seeing you on
Thank
maybe
you.
more on TV and film.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, we got time for one last question. Right here.
Hi, Chris.
Hey, how are you?
Dina. I'm glad to finally meet you, too.
Good to meet you as well.
I love all of your albums.
Thank you so
I'm looking
much.
forward to buying this one. My question for you is, do you ever stay in contact with any of your musician friends from American Idol?
Oh, yeah.
Ever seen all
Absolutely. I was just hanging out with David Cook a few weeks ago.
Nice.
Although we weren't on the same season, we became friends
of
after.
them? Right.
Talked to a lot of the guys, Taylor, Elliot, Ace, Bucky, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got their own busy lives, so it's more about like, hey, how you doing? You know, what's new? And then, you know, we never really get a chance to see each other. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for that
Thank you.
question. And Chris, thank you so much for spending
Thanks for
album
having me.
release day with
Yeah.
us. The album is
Thank
out
you.
now. Daughtry's on tour. Give it up one more time, Daughtry.
Thank you so much.